So if you want to see where the Predator game started out on consoles, you'll have to reach right back to the NES game. Maybe not the best game in the series, but you do get to play as Arnie. So I hate to break it to you, but I did not want to assault my wallet for a subpar Nintendo game, when, for my money at least, Sega had a much stronger, much less weird chance with the Predator series when Predator 2 rolled in. And as far as video games go, the movie had a lot more potential straight up. We had Predators coming into a really populated city, torn apart by gang warfare. As far as I can tell, there were only 2 console games based on Predator 2. Starring Danny Glover and A Restless City, Out for Your Policeman Blood. Both games for Sega systems, and as far as the Master System version goes, released only in PAL territories. In both cases, Predator 2 has a real arcade feel, a fast shooter fest with heaps of weapons, both human and predator, with spawns of enemies. Both games are tied together by the one objective: rescue all the hostages. It's simple and it works. Different stages might set up different challenges, but as long as you save the hostages before the Predator can terminate them, you get to move on to the next level. So obviously the Mega Drive has got a lot of things going for it. More buttons on a controller, the graphics are a big step up, and the stages are bigger and more complex. The street scum practically swarm around you, guns blazing, while on the Master System, there's a limit to how many on-screen baddies there are at a time. The Master System game is a bit of a different beast. It's a bit more limited in its scope, but for me, that totally works. It sits way closer to a side-scrolling shooter than the Mega Drive with its isometric run and gun stages. So I'm going to come out clearly and just say it, but this might actually be my favourite Master System game. Easy to pick up and play, it looks really awesome, and some of the more annoying stages from the Mega Drive version, like the Predator ship in the abattoir, are a lot easier to navigate. So with all the Alien games that have come through and seem to have made a bigger impact, I was a little bit surprised to find Predator 2 hiding in the Sega exclusive library. So unlike the Alien franchise, which really seemed to flourish when Aliens came out, the Predator movies are a different beast. The first one was a classic, sure, but I actually preferred the second one. So my mum was pretty quick to point out that I was a fool, and there's a good reason they held off making a third Predator movie for so long. I might not have much taste, but I guess I'm allowed to have my own opinion. So a movie about these guys running around the jungle with massive muscles trying to survive sounds pretty cool, but for my money, Predator 2 was a much cooler movie. A cop out on the mean streets, and the pressure on the main character. He's a cop, sworn in to protect and serve, but at the same time, he's being told to stand down.
I put my ass on the line to get you here, and all I expect is a little cooperation! Now, you were told that this was a federal matter, yet you disobeyed a direct order to stay out of the business.
I do think it had a lot more lame moments, but as a movie, I thought it was a lot more entertaining. And now as a game, it totally blows away anything that Nintendo had. So it didn't take long after this game was released for the Super Nintendo to get their own taste of the Predator in Alien vs Predator. You can't really compare AVP to Predator 2. They're 2 totally different games. But it does kind of highlight 2 different directions for these action games to take. AVP is a side-scrolling beat-em-up with hordes of hard-to-kill aliens from the very start. You instantly have access to your shoulder cannon, and it doesn't take long to try out both the spear and the throwing disc. So I really love the build-up in Predator 2. You just start out as some sort of regular superpowered cop who can handle every weapon, human or alien. But you don't get access to a full arsenal of weapons until later on. You don't start the first stage being swarmed by predators. The presence is always there, but when you first boot up the game, you're fighting a drug war, out on the street, rescuing hostages and collecting evidence. It's gradual. Slowly, you go toe to toe with more predators. In between the thugs, you start to get your hands on more powerful weapons. That kind of restraint feels pretty rare when it comes to games based off action movies. Predator 2 does it really well, until you get to the Predator ship and you get totally swamped, but the Predator ship is a major scene in the movie. So we never got games like Narc here in Australia. It's probably a pretty close formula to the Master System game, killing bad guys, collecting drugs as evidence. But Narc actually failed censorship. I'm not going to go too much into censorship, but it was a pretty strange time. Rambo was the first R-rated movie to be given the cartoon treatment, just like RoboCop, Toxic Crusader and Highlander that soon followed. They were taking these movies that my mum wouldn't even let me watch until like last year, and making them fun for kids everywhere. Even back on the Atari 2600, we had games like Halloween and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, adult games, on what was seen as a children's console. Predator 2, with its drugs and violence, is pretty full on, and it only made it to the Sega systems at the time. But who knows, without some of the other adult action movies already making their mark on video games. More mature gamers might have had to stick with the PC. For me personally, it kind of cemented that Super Nintendo's reputation of being a nanny console. And Sega as having the much more grown up, arcade-centric machines.